Hey everyone, this is my reaction to the 12th and final episode of Uchi no Maid ga Uzasugiru. And last episode, some fun was had. We got to have a sleepover with all of our friends, and, usual sleepover activities ensued. Maybe not some of the stuff that Tsubame had imagined, but, plenty of fun stuff nonetheless. But things did go downhill pretty quickly near the end there when it was revealed that somebody went into the room that they shouldn't have, and Tsubame took the fall for that, and Misha was not happy with her at all. Like, Misha had a look on her face where if she murdered Tsubame, I wouldn't have been too surprised. That's just how bad she looked there. So hopefully we can kind of work things out here in this episode. Hopefully the truth reveals itself, and some forgiveness is had, and some hugging maybe could ensue. Who knows? Let's get into it. 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, the footprints. They're gonna make us watch this part again. It was not her. She is your family, you just haven't accepted it fully yet. Uh, wonder if we're just gonna skip the opening this time. You survived. Yes, you should. Ah, Midori. Oh, Midori. Goddamn, Midori, it's not the time for this. Don't underestimate little girls, I guess. The moral of this anime. Yeah, definitely a fair point. Well, I know why she did it, but... That's all she asks of you. So far, I feel like there's not going to be a whole lot of comedy in this episode. Yeah, I didn't expect her to just pop up like that and help either. I doubt it. Ah, he's arrived. Don't like seeing Misha so sad. Who could that possibly be? Everyone important's kind of already here. Okay, then I guess just work. Yeah, it's not your fault Misha wanted you to sleep outside. uh, probably. Yep, and her friends just went in there and trampled all over it. A very nice room. Misha. Uh, you know, before it went downhill. Uh, wow, that is just so sad. Uh, okay, because I clearly wasn't sad enough as it was. Uh, like, I'm glad to get some Tsubame backstory, but just, why all at once? You will not stop me, furballs. You don't know that? She could be hiding somewhere. Yeah, it was a little bit. Yeah, we gotta do something. Oh god. I guess so. The benefit of being unable to read the atmosphere. Really shouldn't use a tablet as a pillow. For several reasons. Moshi moshi washi washi. Are they gonna explain? Yeah. You know, now that you're far enough away where she can't attack you. Well, at least now it's all now in the open. Yeah, it did end on kind of a sad note. Even though it's supposed to be a fun, happy event. Yeah, these clearly weren't her footprints. Yeah, we know that much. I just draw Subame in the back. Ah, where is she? Oh god. Wow. That's some nice loopholing there. You're still technically partly inside the room. I would consider it in the room, personally. Well, the phone call, I'm sure, helped a bit. A picnic baskets for Yogi Bear. She looks so happy for the first time in the episode for a couple seconds. I think I can guess where that's going. Yeah, I figured. The cute little swan. Might as well make use of it. Well, no. For some reason. Well, as opposed to what, you know? Yes, do it for Tsubame, Misha. If for nothing else. Why? Even if she is weird. Yeah, you definitely did. I don't even know why I'm surprised. I bet you would. She really is. If one thing we learned this episode, that would be it. He probably does, but... Very nice room. Well, so am I, so... Yes, Tsubame is nothing if not dignified. Awkward silence. She would never do such a thing. uh, yes, that's also part of a maid's duty. Well, she is a maid, sort of. Nope, it's hers now. Well, holy things are meant to be defiled. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yes, that's how it's meant to be. Of course not. It's really thick. Misha. Yes, yeah. You have to protect that smile at all costs. Man, this has been a crazy anime, hasn't it? You've been through a lot together. Yes, that's how you know she's serious. I think we got this. We can work through this. Is she still in there? I don't hear anything. I guess that could be the reason why too. To be fair. Hmm. Yeah, probably not the best position to sleep in. I guess it would, yeah. How does she know? That's not true. Of you? So we're gonna get some backstory? Well, yeah. Oh, so that's where it all began. Cool. Uh, uh, don't stick your plane in my face, Dad. Uh, yeah. So she decided to fly to try to get to him. Not my assumption. But it didn't quite work that way. It definitely worked out a lot. I'm gonna guess that didn't go super well. Even if he was in the sky, it'd probably take a while to find him because there's a lot of sky in the world. Yeah, I didn't think he would be. Yeah, but I was already on this path, it was too late to quit. Yeah, definitely we're building some parallels there. She still looks so sad. Could have fooled me. But I do get it. It's not exactly what it means, no. Just means you're moving forward. Uh, uh, yes. Uh, yes, I'm sure your mother would be happy that you're gaining all these things. It's really nothing to be sad about. Exactly. Very well put, Tsubame. She has plenty of reason to be. Yes, I'd say you're doing better than Tsubame. Uh, okay. Didn't actually expect to get some backstory on the eye thing. He found you. Yeah, it's not true at all. Uh, yes. Wow, I actually have chills. Uh, uh, Yes, you were a little bit violent at times, but I still loved you. That amazing set of abs. Uh, this is just a very sweet, heartwarming scene. Just, I can barely take it. That's a smile I want to see. She's coming out. My god, look at that thing. She is definitely the light. Yes. Wow. Oh, yes. Episode is so much sadness. We finally get to see Misha just glowing. And actually inviting Tsubame into the room. Yes. Yes, she is. My maid now and forever. Wow, that final scene there. I was kind of hoping for a big hug, but I was still happy with what I got at the end there. That was so great. I love you, Misha. Love you so much. That was so adorably awkward. It's a great face, Misha. What, Yui? Why don't we do that? That sounds like fun. You shouldn't squirt in class, Yui. That's kind of sad, yeah. It really does. Oh, damn. They were going full on savage. Do you have friends? Misha, I could just see her walking on the street smiling all day. Yeah, it sounds like fun. I was being sarcastic, but, you know, this is Midori we're talking about. Of course, the dog is walking her. No surprises there. Phrasing. Can you taste the love in it? Let's not push it, Tsubame. I know, right? How could you refuse that? Okay. Okay. Well, clearly all of the above. So which one are you gonna choose, Misha? It's fine, just pick one. Title drop. And I love how it ended off the show on a title drop. That's great. I was kind of hoping she would choose at least one of them, though. Like, maybe choose the least bad one. Like, no comment. But anyway, that was the 12th and final episode of Uchi no Maid ga Uzasugiru. And yeah, I thought that was a pretty good final episode. I knew that it would be a mostly sad episode, and I was right on that. Definitely right on that. It seemed like it had kind of a dark tint over the screen for most of it. But, which is pretty common. which is a pretty common thing to do, you know, in anime that suddenly have like a sad episode. But yeah, this was mostly about Misha and getting her to come to terms with everything and accept all of her feelings on all that matter. Now, there was a bit of a misunderstanding that everyone was having that she was upset about, you know, people going into her mother's room because it's sacred and holy and all that. But it was eventually revealed that actually wasn't the issue. The issue was the fact that she wasn't as bothered as she feels like she should be by it, and that's what made her mad. It's a little bit complicated when you try to phrase it like that, but that's basically what it was. But pretty much what it came down to was explaining to Misha that there's nothing wrong with the changing of her feelings, you know. Her mother would not be bothered by this. She would be happy about all the things she's gaining and all that. And it was great to see Tsubame try to, you know, bond with her, you know, help her with this issue by relating it to herself. And we got some Tsubame backstory that we've all been hoping for. We've got bits and pieces of it here and there, but never really got full on. But we did this episode. Pretty much what happened was she had a good relationship with her father, pretty close to him. Although she wasn't always happy with like the gifts and stuff that he bought for her, but he did die, and she wanted to follow in his footsteps to try to get to him because mother told her that he was in the sky, and you know she took that very literally, very seriously, and tried to pursue that, but it didn't work out very well in the end. And we also get to find out about the eye, how her vision just slowly deteriorated until it got to the point where she couldn't fly anymore, and then got to the point where she just kind of had to retire altogether. So nothing really too complicated or plot twisty with any of that, but it's good to know, you know, exactly what happened there. And good that Misha knows now, because that's something that she now knows more about her, and they can be closer because of that. They now both understand each other better at the end of the episode than they did at the beginning, so that's always a good thing. And it was cool that you know had that Washi Washi and Yui were able to confess what happened to Misha in the end, you know, because it was their fault. It's not really right for Tsubame to take the hit like that. Though, like I said, in the end, it didn't matter too much because she kind of already knew that, because the footprints, like, there's a set of footprints that were both smaller. Like, you usually don't mistake a child's footprint for an adult's, generally. So it does definitely make sense. I don't think I actually commented on that, but that was something I kind of thought about in the previous episode. Like, those footsteps really weren't Tsubame's size, but I did kind of give some slack on that because she was very emotionally distraught at the time, so she might not have noticed that. So that's the main reason why I didn't bring it up, because it wasn't, because I kind of took it like that to where it wasn't as big of a deal. But anyway, yeah, that really was the episode, just talking her down. You know, she locked herself in the room, found out how important it was to her, how she kind of locked herself in there before, hoping her mother would be there. All pretty sad stuff, but, you know, all the sadness really definitely kind of, I don't know if saying paid off is the right way, but, you know, once we actually got through it all and we got to see her finally get through it and see how happy she was, just beaming, you know, light, finding out that she is a light of Tsubame's life, and opening the door and inviting Tsubame back into the room, which is a very symbolic sort of thing, because it's like, you know, inviting her into her life, accepting her as a part of her life, you know, it was great to see. I absolutely love that part. And just, yeah, just that entire big old scene was great, just all of it. All the talk about being her lights, about her being her maid, you know, all that was just absolutely amazing. I just thoroughly enjoyed that as much as I possibly could have, really. I think that really is like the closest Misha has ever felt to Tsubame, I would say. And we made some pretty good progress there. Although I don't think Misha is quite on board with the idea of marrying Tsubame just yet, but, you know, we got plenty of time to worry about that. You know, no need to rush. We have made some good progress, and we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Let's see, anything else with the episode? Let's see. I mean, Midori was oddly helpful, you know? Her ability to not read the atmosphere, you know, that was obvious, but at the same time, they can kind of get, you know, what's a good way to put it? Lighten the mood a bit, you know? Which is kind of necessary when it's getting that depressing. But yeah, the father, Tsubame's father playing with the airplane and stuff, that was oddly funny. I don't know why, just seeing a grown man there in a suit going pew 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 on the floor. I don't know, that was pretty funny. I don't think I laughed a lot at it, but I still thought it was funny. It was also good how Midori was able to really talk to Tsubame to convince her not to give up and all that. That was a good scene as well. Midori was kind of the subtle MVP here. She kind of made sure everything went smoothly, and she also broke into in the room. So, yeah, I mean, she definitely played an important role there. Midori's role in this could not be understated. She definitely did some good work. Obviously, Tsubame got the real highlight moment, but, you know, Midori was good. Uh, and yeah, the epilogue sort of scene was nice too. You know, just Misha going to school, talking to her other friends, seeming a lot happier than she was at the beginning of the episode. You know, people roasting Yui as they do, which was just funny. The awkward scene where, you know, between Misha and her father when they saw the other father and stuff. She's like, "Well, I'm leaving now." Just, I don't know. I really like that too. And the four choices that Tsubame gave Misha, I was still hoping she would choose at least one of them, but nah, she didn't. This is an absolute choice, so she doesn't have to choose one of them technically. But, you know, oh well. Oh well. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good final episode. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of having so much sadness in the final episode of such a lighthearted, you know, comedy anime, but I'll accept that because, you know, the end of it was so good and it was kind of necessary to get through that sort of thing because Misha does have those sort of, you know, emotional problems that we needed to work through, and I think we did some good job working through that in that episode. So, my thoughts on the show as a whole. I think it's safe to say that I loved this anime. In fact, I'm pretty sure it would be my #1 anime of the season. Which I kind of figured it would be before I even watched it because just everything about it, you know. But I did not know exactly how great it would be when I first started it. It was full of amazing Misha, cute, adorable moments with her just amazing million faces that she has. All the interactions between Misha and Tsubame were pretty much very enjoyable to watch. Tsubame comes on very strong with her, you know, romantic feelings for Misha. Misha's like, "No, no, bad touch. I need an adult. Go away. I don't need you in my life." Like, she doesn't really want any maid in that household. Like, she very much sabotaged any maid that came there before her, dumping water on them and stuff like that. And so, you know, right out of the gate, she had no chance of really accepting Tsubame, but the fact that she does make all these very weird statements and stuff to Misha to creep her out definitely made it even worse for her. So, yeah, Misha, she did not have a good time in the beginning of the series. She just did not want this maid in her life. She's like, "Go away." However, as you watch the show, you started to realize that that was slowly but surely changing. You know, Tsubame was trying to show off her good points to Misha, how much she cares about her, what a good maid she can be, how she's, you know, how much she wants to improve her life, you know, going on camping trips and stuff, taking her to the zoo, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, the zoo thing, I still remember when she came back from that, the home to tell her father about all the fun she had, and she had this just absolute beaming smile on her face because she had so much fun, but because she didn't want to. You know, her father, when he said, "Wow, you seem to have a good time, you know, look how happy you are," and then her smile just like drops as she realizes that, "Oh no, I had fun, I look happy." Oh no, I just love that transition from absolute happiness to shock, like, "Oh my god, what did that woman do to me? She made me happy. I'm not supposed to be having fun with the maid." Like, that was one of the highlights of the show for me. But yeah, as my point was, just the more and more interactions she had with Tsubame, the more and more she got closer, more attached to her, and the more she was in a position to help Misha with her mother issues. You know, because obviously she couldn't do too much early on because Misha very much did not want somebody to come in and replace her mother. That was a big thing. But like I said, the more she gets involved, the better she is at kind of helping her with that. And she, in the end of the series, she very much did a good job of that, helping Misha kind of move on. And she also, at the same time, helped Misha's life in general just improve, making friends at school. Well, going to school. I think she wasn't even going to school at first. But she made friends with the Washi Washi, she made friends with Yui, and they hang out with each other and even got close enough to have sleepovers, you know, at the end there. And snowball fights and all that good stuff. But yeah, Tsubame had a very good influence in Misha's life, like a night and day difference from when the beginning of the series to the end of it, where Misha's going to school all happy, you know, has an improved relationship with her father, has a bunch of friends, goes to school, have fun, sleepovers, just all that good stuff, you know, camping trips. I think they even went to like a hotel or something at some point, but yeah, very big difference there. So a lot of progress was made there, to say the least. See what else. That was pretty much all the Misha Tsubame stuff. At least the relationship stuff, but I do kind of want to talk about individual characters a little bit here. Now, Misha was my favorite character in the show, I think it's safe to say. She was always very cute, very adorable, had a lot of great lines throughout the entire show, had a lot of amazing faces, and as I already said, her interactions with Tsubame were amazing, though she also had some pretty good ones with other characters too, like Midori, some good interactions, Yui, some good interactions, you know. Misha really just, she really was the best character. Like, I liked Midori a lot as well, but she's probably #2. But I think at some point Midori was my favorite for like a little bit, but then Misha just No, Misha's just so consistently a good character. Where Midori, as much as I like Midori, she was a bit more of a one-dimensional character than Misha. So I just kind of have to give Misha that. But Tsubame was a pretty cool character. You know, she's very much an over-the-top pervert maid lolicon, so she never a dull moment with that character, to be sure. Did a lot of crazy antics, dressing up in various costumes, going to Misha's school, getting into a bit of trouble. You know, she's kind of a very eccentric maid, but I think that's what you need to help somebody like Misha, somebody that's willing to fight through all of the I don't know if pranks is the best word, but you know, all the things that Misha does, dumping water on them to deter them. She was well trained and crazy enough to just go through it all and help Misha, which she did. But yeah, even Misha's friends I kind of liked. Well, Washi Washi was okay. I don't know, I didn't really care for her too much, but Yui I loved as a character. Yui, partly because she reminded me of Midorikawa, I think her name was, from Maid Dragon. But was that her name? I don't really remember. I might be mixing up character names here. Give me 1 second. Actually, I started my timer again. It's okay. I fixed that. Let's see. No, Saikawa. Okay, I knew I was getting the name wrong. Saikawa is what they meant to say. Anyway, she reminded me a lot of Saikawa, especially with how she kind of approached the main girl of the series to become friends. Very similar, and she's also kind of a little bit of a tsundere, tries too hard to do everything, really gets kind of bullied by the other students. Just reminds me of Saikawa a lot. And she was always, you know, an entertaining character to watch as well. And, you know, I kind of want to root for her because she has just so many disadvantages compared to somebody like Misha. I kind of rooted for her to be a decent amount, but yeah, she was pretty good. You know, just, yeah, I really don't, I thought I had more to say about her than I did, but yeah, I like that character as well. I think that's really all the characters I really want to talk about in this show. They really did not have a big cast for this show, did not at all. But yeah, it was just a very funny show, very entertaining. You know, pretty good message overall, you know, about not letting the loss of a family member, you know, stop your life completely. You know, you do have to kind of move on, and your friends and family can help you do so if you give them a chance. I think that's kind of the overall message of the show. And also maids help too, you know, having maids is a good thing, another message of the show. But I thought I had more to see on the show in general, but it really was, for the most part, just a very hilarious comedy anime, you know? So I kind of hope we get more of it. I don't know how much of the source material there's left to adapt. Maybe there's none at all. I don't know. But I would like to see a season 2. I think there's definitely room for that with the show. You know, there's always more shenanigans to be done, for sure. And I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I don't think there was a single episode where I wasn't happy by the end of it, you know? So yeah, I was pretty happy with it, I would say. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.